Thank you so much for this opportunity to share a little insight, a few insights, and I trust each one of you has amazing insights, and I hope that we can share some of those during this time together. I am going to expand on what I was speaking about earlier on, this aspect of Utu. Most of us have heard about Ubuntu. I am because you are, or because you are, I am. And it's also, it also means I am fully human in community. It's an African philosophy that recognizes that my community has shaped who I am, and I shape who my community is. So every one of us is important in our community. Without you, your community wouldn't be what it is, and the community wouldn't be what it is, and you wouldn't be who you are without your community. And as I was thinking about the things that I've done over the years, which fundamentally are working with women living with HIV and AIDS, working with orphans, children who've lost either one or both parents because of HIV and AIDS or poverty or violence. Those are spaces that are similar to a disease like COVID-19, which has no cure. Spaces that people really feel they have no control, or they might feel helpless and hopeless. And in working with the women and children, I started thinking about, we are all human. Yes, we are all Ubuntu. But what informs that being human? And I started thinking about the name that I could get for it is humaneness, the divine essence in me that enables me to be and to bring the best in myself and also in my community, within myself and also within my community. And even as COVID-19 has been, like the numbers have been escalating and things like that, I've been wondering what's my response? How am I supposed to be with this thing? And you can imagine the prayers that all of us are holding for. Please keep it away from, for me, it's please keep it away from my kids. I have a children's home with 63 kids right now, and keeping all of us in our home and just having to be present to this disease has been quite an invitation for reflection, like I'm sure all of you are reflecting. And so for me, my inspiration has been, and this is what I tell the women and the children, I am not this disease. I am not my circumstances. There's something greater that I am. And until I find what that is, I go through this life suffering, thinking that my body is all there is. The things that I own are all that there is. And so that is why we get so attached to these things, as if that's who we are. So I started, for me, before I even talk to the women and the children, I have to talk to myself, is how do I reclaim my voice, my essence? If I lose my body, if I lose all the things I have, what is left? And that's where Utu meets the divine essence that I am, that I'm not going to be afraid. I choose not to be afraid, but I choose to claim my word and my voice and to say, God, if this is the thing that is going to come for me, then give me the wisdom and the presence to know how I exit. I refuse to live in the fear. And so Utu for me is when I'm in that place of wholeness, of completeness, of joyfulness, of peace, of love. When I be love, I have all these things. And when I have them, then I know I am safe. Because who I am is not this body. The soul is much more larger and greater than this physical body that will one day be eaten by ants when I pass on. And so when we've been sitting with the kids and thinking about what are we going to do with this disease, the thing has been for me to have them see, yes, we need to pray. Yes, we need to do all the things that the government has said we do. We need to wash our hands, we need to keep our distance, we have to sanitize, we have to do all the things, to wear masks, we have to obey the curfew laws and things like that. But deep within me, what is going on? And so for my kids, I've been working with them to see the joy of life. We have been given it, and there's nothing to be afraid of. It is sad that we are losing people to this disease. And I say each one of us pass on one time or another. There's no need to fear death. We need to embrace it and pray for comfort and pray for the journeys of the people who will go ahead of us or before us, because there's so many also who've gone behind us. And so in the realm of that thinking, then what do I do with my now? Because that's all I have. It's my now, my life now, within the best of it, in the hope that we're going to be living. We're going to be living, you know. So reclaiming our essence, reclaiming our life now, not life tomorrow, because we don't know whether we are going to see it, and not life yesterday because it is gone. What am I going to do with my now? I choose to be love. I choose to be good to everybody, to my brothers and sisters. I choose to do the right thing. I choose to do my homework. I choose to live my life fully now. And it's up to each one of us to decide what that looks like. To live my life fully now. What does that look like? When I came back from the US in March, I had to cut short my journey. I was in the States from February 23rd, and I came back on the 18th of March, and I cut my trip by 2 weeks or so. And when I came back, we were given the opportunity to do a 14-day self-quarantine. Our flight into Kenya was the last one for us travelers to be allowed to be in self-quarantine voluntarily, because those people who came after us had to go to the government facilities and things like that. And I knew I had to do the 14-day quarantine because, of course, I had traveled from the US to Kenya and I didn't know whether I had the virus or not. I mean, I may have contracted it on the way. And so I chose to do 14 days of quiet and reflection in a place which is far from where we live with the kids and things like that. And for me, that was the best time ever. I was telling my friends, for the last 30 years, I've never had time like that with myself, for myself. And I've been thinking about, and I knew when I finished it, I'll come back home and still do homestays, because we are staying at home. I mean, we are staying at home at this time. And for me, it has been a time to reclaim a reflective mind and heart. Because for the last 30 years, I've been running, taking care of the kids, doing programs with the women, doing all these things. And I've been thinking, is this all there is in life? Running, and then you die, you know? And so I went to a place of really reconnecting with my inner self, inner wisdom, inner strength, and recognizing, oh, wow, really what is important. So I feel like coronavirus came to remind me of what is important in life. It is in recognizing how interconnected we are. as a human species, and not only human beings, but even with the animals, with the plants, with the environment, and really more so with the environment, because if I don't take care of Mother Earth, it shall not be able to take care of me, like we are seeing with COVID-19 right now. A lot of the environmental issues that we are facing are about not only failure in human effort to take care of the earth, but it's also a spiritual crisis. When we forget that we are so intricately connected, a tree that you come across, an animal that you come across has the same divine essence as you and me. And those things need to be brought back to dignity, recognition, and honoring for the balance, for the wholeness, for the completion, for the peace, for the love to come back. And so my calling, my journey now is about cultivating how I be that wholeness, how I be that completeness, how I really embrace my Utu-ness, my humaneness, and bring it every day in my life, in the thoughts that I think, in the words that I speak, in the actions that I choose to take. Every moment to be present to how am I bringing that wholeness in these spaces of all the chaos that is taking place in the world. The most amazing lesson I have learned in my work, working with people who think they're going to die any minute, or working with orphans who think there's no life because their parents have died, it is really to recognize that the tragedy of a person is when they don't know their power. The systems that we live in have taken away our power. They have really, like blinded us. They have conditioned us. They have programmed us until we've buried who we are underneath all that noise and stuff. And we've forgotten who we are. Someone shared with me the other day and said that in the realm of the ecology, when the prey and the predator are doing their dance, the predator does all it can to create fear in the prey so that the prey change. The predator is able to catch it. In the same realm, when systems bring fear into us, we change our behavior in certain ways. And that is how we get caught in the quagmire of fear and somebody else's story and forgetting who we are. When one of my kids, orphans, told me that I may be an orphan, but I'm not the one who is dead, I was like, amen. He is becoming, he is getting who he is. He's reclaiming his essence and his power. So my learning has been, when I am in my divine center, when I know who I am, even when there's no road, I know I make the path as I go. And I know once I have surrendered and trust in the supreme help, the universal help that guides me, because I don't just go blindly, that I'm held. In this world, we are never alone. We are held. But we need to open up our minds and hearts to see how we have been held and to rest in that holding. And when we find it, then to hold someone, like that Mother Teresa prayer, to hold someone else. And when we hold each other, we will walk each other home. We will reach each other home. We'll never get home alone. We have to get home together. And so that has been an amazing space. This has been an amazing time for that awakening and realization and recognition that, let us know our power, let us know the systems, let us recognize how they have conditioned us, And let us remove the layers of that conditioning so that we can step into our divine essence, find and know who we are, and then shine that, share that love, that wholeness, that completeness, that peace that is so available, that joyfulness of life, in spite of all these things that happen. Because essentially, I'm not the things that happen. These things that are happening in this realm, that's not who we are. When we find our space in our soul and the joyfulness of life and the wholeness of life and the love that we are is found within us, it totally changes.
Thank you, Dr. Karambu. I just wanted to chime in with a time check. I think we're down to 3 or 4 minutes. So sorry, my deepest apologies to interrupt you. But when we all get beamed back to the larger group, it can be a little jarring if someone is mid-sentence. I don't see that anyone has typed a question in the chat box, but I did have one question for you. I was looking at your International Peace Initiative's website last night and watching some of the videos of the children's lives that you have impacted with the work that you do. And I'm wondering if you have a minute or two to let us know how the children are doing in this time.
The children are great. Thank you for that question. We are staying at home. Some of them went to be with their relatives, but at home we are about 63 right now. So we are just doing a lot of, we do 2 classes every day. We do our chores, we do our cooking, because they are no workers now. So we are just taking care of ourselves. The kids understand. We had to talk to them about COVID-19, what it is doing to people and why we have to be at home taking care of ourselves. Because of my 14-day quarantine, they understood why I was in Kenya and I wasn't home. And they had an opportunity to talk about the disease, but they also had an opportunity to really pray for me and for each other and for all the people in the world who were suffering. So they are fine, they are busy, and they want to go back to school. They're just tired of being at home. But I thank God because we've been able to get support from various places because feeding all of us for 2 months, because part of the year the kids are in school, so I have them only for 4 or 5 months in a year. So the budgets had to change and things like that, but we were blessed because we've been able to feed the kids, we've been able to clothe them, we've been able to meet their medical needs, and I just thank God that I can only report we are good, and I'm grateful for that.
Beautiful. I think we're getting down to the wire, but someone asked, what is the correct spelling of Utu and where can they read more about that philosophy?
It's UTU, and you won't find it written anywhere, probably because I have been creating it. But if you Google Utu, you'll find its different uses in different places. But the philosophy that I've built around it, that's mine. But you Google, you might surprise me also. If you find more written on it, just let me know because I've also been looking. Yeah. So just Google UTU, Utu, and it's a Swahili word that means, for me, humaneness, yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. Well, I think we only have, I'm expecting to get the little pop-up saying we're counting down to being beamed back to the larger group. So there's many gratitudes in the chat box thanking you for sharing your wisdom and your beautiful light and presence with us. And I want to extend my thanks and gratitude to you as well. I love you very much. And
thank you. I love it. It was great to see that you're my moderator. It's That's amazing. Thank you, and thank you for the love. I love you too, and thank you everybody for listening and being here with all of us. God bless.